welcome to another edition of the Rush Behind's Top 10 Countdown. This week we're looking at the top 10 kicks after the siren, and boy, there are some beauties. Now, we know there are so many magical moments to have happened across the history of the game, and it's been really tough for us to squeeze them into a top 10. So you see these clips playing now? Well, they're not in it, unfortunately, but we're playing them now so you don't flood our inbox with angry messages saying we forgot. All right, let's get crack-a-lackin'. Now, technically, if you look in the history books, this behind doesn't exist. But pipe down all you naysayers, because it's too insane not to earn a spot on this list. The incident? Round 5, 2006. Siren Gate.
Simply put, this is one of the most bizarre, extraordinary and downright crazy moments to ever happen on a footy field.
For those not too savvy with this infamous moment, watch closely as the clock in the top left corner of your screen ticks down. All over Red Rover. Freo up by a point, siren's gone. Good win, lads. But not so fast, compadres. The umps hadn't heard the faint final siren at Aurora Stadium, and despite the Dockers' manic protests, play continued. The pill landed with St Kilda's Stephen Baker, who had a ping to possibly give the Saints an incredible win. His miss right on the second siren levelled the scores and split premiership points, much to the fury of Fremantle coach Chris Connolly. What followed was pure pandemonium and absolute chaos. Coaches stormed the field, umpires were perplexed, players on both sides were confused, and the crowd stunned in disbelief before, incredibly, Baker was given another shot at goal after the initial point was cancelled. Confused yet? Bakes kicked another behind and the result went down in the books as a draw before the result was changed in Fremantle's favour by the AFL Commission 4 days later.
The funny part about this was that the win to Fremantle was actually awarded a few days later, so all the betting agencies paid out on a draw and all the like.
It's only the second time an AFL match has been overturned, the first coming all the way back in 1900, also involving St Kilda. Gee whiz, what a moment. Yes, we know there's more than one entry here, and we know we did the same thing last week, but a top 13 doesn't quite roll off the tongue as nicely. These famous kicks after the siren all qualify as one moment, however, as they all happen during the frightening reign of the Kennett Curse. Ooh. Fresh off the Hawks pulling off a shock victory in the 2008 Grand Final over the Cats, President Jeff Kennett questioned Geelong's mental drive just before their 2009 Round 1 rematch. Part of the infamous quote, "We've beaten Geelong when it matters." If there's a polite way to say that quote bit Jeff on the arse, well, it's escaped me.
There are three certainties in life, I think. Death, taxes and Geelong winning games on the siren. It's just what they do, especially against Hawthorn.
True as it may be, Geelong went on to win their next 11 matches against the Hawks from 2009 to 2013, and many were after the siren thrillers. Jimmy Bartell was first in 2009 with this peach, and then Tom Hawkins in 2012, and then the curse briefly returned after Isaac Smith missed his shot on goal in the 2016 qualifying final.
It just seemed like Hawthorn could not take a break. Like, you look at all three of those moments, and one way or another, it just would not go right.
And I thought I had bad luck after ordering that gung pao chicken a few weeks ago. Yeah, that didn't really go to plan. Oh boy, this one. I reckon let's cross to our resident Richmond expert / foreign correspondent, Athos Syrianos, to give us the scoop on this miraculous moment.
I was in Greece when this happened. I was lying on a beach sipping a frappe and enjoying a club sandwich, and then Carmichael Hunt decided to ruin my holiday. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
Hot take, Mr. Sirianos. Carmichael Hunt had a very divisive and controversial career during his high-profile signing to the Gold Coast. But this was his crowning moment.
Is he the hero that the Suns believe he is? He definitely is! What a
This one brings a tear to my eye every time I see it because it's just that funny. It just makes it that much sweeter coming against Richmond as well.
We'll just roll the footage and let Athos choke on his frappe one more time.
Imagine you mark the ball on the siren, scores are level, you only need a point, and you're playing your fiercest, oldest rivals who you can't stand. And you kick it out on the full.
Stephen Kernahan was an absolute legend of the game who had proven his ability to kick goals to win matches after the siren. But unfortunately, this wasn't one of those moments. With the scores level against the Bombers in 1993, Sticks fired a goal after the siren, only to completely miss the lot.
You'd think in a game like this, if you're going to back anyone to just kick you a point directly in front to win you a game, you'd back Sticks Kernahan.
It wouldn't be the last laugh the Bombers would have that year, as despite a 7-goal Kernahan haul in the 1993 grand final, the Red and Black emerged triumphant in one of the more memorable premierships of the AFL era.
He missed everything to the delight of Essendon fans before they realised that they drew the game, not won the game. So a bittersweet ending.
Well, that's the inner Richmond enough coming out. Remember how I was talking about being unlucky before? Well, this is unlucky. And not so much for Gary Buckenara, who kicked the goal to put the Hawks into the 1987 grand final, but for a young and inexperienced Jim Stynes. Can we rewind the footage, please? Why, thank you very much. A costly 15-metre penalty against the Melbourne ruckman for running over the mark saw the sure-footed Hawk kick true after the siren, putting a grand final appearance out of the long-suffering D's reach.
1987 grand final. If he misses, Melbourne are in. There's the kick. It's a goal. It's a goal. Hawthorn have won with a kick after the siren. What a performance. A magnificent performance this by Hawthorn.
Melbourne supporters are long-suffering, it's no secret. They get dressed up for the footy in their suits and their ties and their shoes, and their T-bone steak and cheese board often comes with a side platter of tears. One of the reasons they are long-suffering is that grand final appearances have been few and far between since 1964, and they came this close back in 1987 when they were leading the prelim, when Gary Buckenara took a mark at centre-half forward and a young, inexperienced and oblivious Jim Stynes ran across the mark.
Of course, we all know Jim Stynes went on to do many remarkable things, both on the field with a Brownlow medal and off the field with the Reach Foundation.
This one definitely may not be the most spectacular after the siren goal, but it's definitely one of the most memorable, and I think that's why we've popped it on the list. When putting this list together, there were 3 boxes that I had with me when selecting each moment. Was there an incredible mark taken?
Long kick forward, looking for Pavlich in the pack. He goes. Longmuir's taken a screamer.
Justin Longmuir's case, yes, there was an incredible mark taken. Number 2 was the goal, a match winner after the siren.
In comes Longmuir to take his kick. Ice cool. Fremantle have won.
Yes, it was. Number 3 was it done against St Kilda. Unfortunately, Justin Longmuir ticked all 3 boxes.
Well, while a 6-year-old Chris and the rest of the St Kilda fan club had their heads in their hands, the Freo fans were going berserk.
Absolute scenes this one. He kicks the goal on the siren, he runs to the crowd, celebrates with them. I'm sure he's shown this one at training a few times now that he's the coach of the Fremantle Dockers.
The Docker shock gave birth to one of the best celebrations to be ever witnessed on a footy field. And if you look very closely, you won't see a single happy Saints fan. What made the kick even more incredible is that it kept Fremantle's faint finals hopes alive. For all the Freo fans out there, we'll spare mentioning what happened the next round against Port Adelaide, but for all you others out there who may not be getting the hint, Chris Connolly's side were able to have an early September holiday. All hail the King of Geelong! With the Cats down by a point, Billy Brownless's mark and sensational goal on the siren sent the MCG absolutely bonkers.
What a goal. What a moment. He got so excited. I think this celebration is so much better. He just decides to go running. Like Forrest Gump, he was running.
Billy Brownless was the unofficial king of Geelong before that goal, and then as soon as that sailed through, it was official.
Now, while Billy Brownless is remembered as the Robin to Gary Ablett's Batman, on this day, he became Superman.
Well, thanks for stealing my lines, guys. But yes, all correct. It was one of Geelong's most enduring memories, but for the Jerilderie recruit Brownless, it wouldn't be topped by a premiership triumph. Billy played in 4 grand final losses for the Cats, including 1994. But when you've got this on your highlights reel, who needs that? Plugger kicked a lot of Sharons at goal during his illustrious career at St Kilda and Sydney, but none were more important than this behind that put the Swans into a grand final.
What a huge behind!
Oh, Dave.
Plugger would normally have kicked a goal, I think, if he had to, but just for the lulz, I think he kicked a point to drum that home for Essendon and to just exacerbate their woes even further.
I reckon besides Barry Breen's behind the 1966 grand final, this would be the most major minus score in the league's history. Not sure if that makes sense, but that's what we're rolling with.
Yeah, look, it makes no sense, mate. What does make sense is that Plugger is one of the greatest forwards to ever play the game. Over 1,300 goals, legend status in the AFL Hall of Fame, and having a song written about you. Gee, that's incredible stuff.
One Tony Lockett!
Key change?
We're back in more contemporary times now, and Jiminy Christmas, this is one of those moments that just gives you goosebumps. Enter Ash McGrath. Brisbane were by no means a great side at the time, but the Cats had been flying. Only one loss in 13 games, and they looked destined to make it another one on the trot.
He got that ball in his hands at the last possible second. He put it on his boot, and that sailed right through for a big sausage. And the Lions win, and the rest is history. What a moment.
It was better than a fairy tale, and you simply can't dream one of these scenarios. But the milestone man delivered.
Ash McGrath, an absolute hero, miracle on grass, I think the call was incredibly fitting and goes down as an incredibly wholesome moment of football.
An 11th hour triumph, but a memory that will last a lifetime.
Will give the Lions an incredible victory. Ash McGrath comes in, it's on its way, it's there! The miracle on grass!
McGrath's bomb was the 8th Brisbane goal of the quarter, with the gob-stopping match going down as one of the most stunning comebacks in the game's history.
I love this one so much, and I'd have this at number 1 if it weren't for the other two.
Oh, well, if Athos reckons this should be number 1, I can hardly contain any excitement for what's next. There is simply no overlooking this mammoth goal.
Centre half forward, 28 minutes gone. The crowd's gone mad. I think the siren's gone. No, Blight will have to take his kick. Now Blight would have to kick this. Oh, he'd have to kick it 85, 90 metres. He's going to have a kick, all right. It's not over yet. Not over yet. What drama here at Princes Park. Malcolm Blight, it's a big kick. It's a mammoth kick.
Now, I've seen some monsters in my time. That bogeyman under my bed, that scary clown in that horror film, my ex. But Malcolm Blight's whopping kick takes the cake.
That will be forever go down in AFL folklore for a goal after the siren, because that was just a great kick. It's just a great goal. No other way to describe it.
With Carlton up by a point in 1976, Blight marked 80 metres out to the sound of the final siren. Deciding to have a crack at the big sticks as the fans filed out of the ground, the North hero unleashed one of the biggest kicks the game has ever seen.
When you do think of goals kicked after the siren, this is the one that you go to. It was so iconic. It was an incredible barrel, which I think we need to bring back. So hopefully players have been practicing their torpedoes in social isolation, and we can see a few more Malcolm Blight-like goals when footy ultimately resumes.
Imagine being a Carlton fan and you've thought, yep, won by a point, great effort from the boys, and your mate goes, oh, Malcolm's taking a shot from 80 metres out. Yeah, right, okay, like he's going to get this. Oh, it's actually gone in.
An absolutely phenomenal piece of after the siren magic and a deserving winner in this week's countdown.